Commissioners meeting. We will begin, as is customary, with the observance of a moment of silence. Thank you. Please rise for a pledge to the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. It's now time for public comment, and the first on our agenda is Mr. Schroeder.
Great.
I'd like to come forward.
Thank you, Commissioner Phillip. My name is Michael Schroeder. I live in South Danville Township, and I am speaking today as Secretary of the Lebanon County NAACP and on behalf of the Executive Committee. And we have a number of members here. Maybe raise your hand or stand, wherever you prefer. We are basically, we've issued a letter to you, the County Commissioners. We sent it to you a couple days ago, expressing our deep concern about the pattern of responses by the Office of the Lebanon County District Attorney, Pierre Hess-Pratt, to allegations of rape and sexual assault, as these are documented in a year-long investigation recently published in Penn Live, a special report on sex crimes. The 9 articles in this series are listed in the URLs at the end of the letter, and I actually have hard copies here that I'd like to share with you of all 9, if I may, for each of you. I'm not going to read the rest of the letter here. I'm just going to kind of summarize it. We're also making it publicly available to the press. The letter that we sent to you actually is 2 letters in one, because it also has an appendix, the letters that we sent to the District Attorney. So our ask here for you, as the County Commissioners, is that you look carefully into this matter by asking the District Attorney's Office to respond publicly and in writing to the questions we posed in our letter directed to her office. And again, the letter is included here. And we asked 4 questions of the County Commissioner. Actually, now only 3 are viable because 1 has been taken off the table by a gag order that was issued yesterday in the case of Veronica Rodriguez. But mainly, to kind of summarize, we look at the banner on the website, on the webpage of the District Attorney, and they have their mission statement there, which is great. And it says, our office mission statement is promoting safety through innovative and collaborative approaches to crime prevention and prosecution while maintaining our commitment to victims' rights, offender rehabilitation, consumer protection, and public engagement. And the Penn Live investigation of the pattern of responses by the Office of the District Attorney to the sexual abuse allegations appears to show an egregious failure to fulfill its commitment to victims' rights and an equally egregious failure to fulfill its commitment to public engagement. Now, we know that you as County Commissioners have no authority over the District Attorney's Office. We're not asking you to change any policies, but we also know that you have a voice, and we're asking you to use that voice in order to try to probe this very troubling pattern of responses to allegations of sexual abuse, of sexual violence. So that summarizes it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment this morning? Yes? Is that a yes?
Me?
Yeah.
No, just ditto
Oh,
what he said.
Okay. All righty. Nothing else, then we'll move on to the approval of the minutes of our December 5th meeting and our workshop executive sessions of December 11th, 17th, and 18th. That's part of your packets.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those minutes as presented. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. Mrs. Newman, good morning.
Good morning. May I add just a comment to the agenda, please? Take 1 minute. Sure. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure, because I feel it's public information, that the policy of the county has gone from 10 to 2 years in retention of emails. That's everything.
Thank you. All right. Very good. Now, Mrs. Newland,
Okay, good morning.
our county treasurer.
Okay, we had receipts on 12/17 and 12/18
of $1,392,289.57. That brought us to a total cash of $2,437,498.80. We had expenditures of $1,982,804.61. Our tax claim is $32,369.83. Excuse me. Leaves a balance of $422,324.36.
Is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report, subject to audit.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve Mrs. Nguyen's report as presented. Any questions regarding her report? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved. Anything else?
Yes, I do have something else. I have done new agreements with the municipalities that we collect taxes for. Our rate went up to $1 from 50 cents for each tax collected, for each bill collected.
$1.50.
No, it went from 50 cents to $1. So we have 22 municipalities now that we do this for. It's for the city of Lebanon, Cleona Borough, Cornwall Borough, Jonestown, Mount Gretna is a new one this year. We'll just start those as of the beginning of 2025. Marristown Borough, Palmyra, Richland, Anvil Township, East Hanover, Heidelberg, Jackson, North Cornwall, North Lebanon, North Londonderry, South Anvil, South Lebanon, South Londonderry, Satara, Union, West Cornwall, and West Lebanon. So those are the 22 that we're collecting for, and we have new agreements that need to be approved.
We do them in one sweeping motion.
Yes, please. I think we can do that, Jamie.
I'll move to approve the action.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve those tax collection agreements. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sophie. Good morning.
Good morning.
Introduce yourself.
Michelle Snavely, Director of Human Resources. Under resignations and terminations, we have Jay Burkholder, Substitute Meal Transporter at Area Agency on Aging, termination effective December 16th. Douglas Stump, Substitute Senior Center Manager and he was a floater in Area Agency on Aging, retirement effective February 7th, 2025. Samia Santiago, Caseworker 2, Children and Youth, resignation effective January 3rd, 2025. Samantha Beck, Caseworker 1, Children and Youth, rescind offer of employment December 16th. Jonathan Zeckman, Casual Operations Line Officer, Department of Emergency Services, resignation effective March 18th. Louise Matthews, DJ Office Support 1, and DJ Figueroa, resignation effective December 20th. Danielle Gray, Casework Supervisor 1 and MHIDEI, resignation effective December 27th. And Lisa Frey, Casual Call LPN at the Renova Center, resignation effective December 7th.
I move to approve the resignations and terminations as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those and transactions. I'd just like to especially recognize the service of Doug Stump. He has always been a very good representative for the Area Agency on Aging, and he'll be missed. Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Under leaves of absence, Teresa Velazquez from Renova Center, 2-week leave of absence, all unpaid, effective December 13th, return January 4th, 2025.
Motion approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that leave. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So moved.
Moving on to changes of status, transfers, and promotions. Julia K. S.H. Downs, promotion from Caseworker 1 in Children and Youth to Caseworker 2 at the rate of $1,661.28 biweekly, effective December 22nd. Caitlin Walburn, voluntary demotion from Child Abuse Investigator in Children and Youth to Caseworker 2 at the rate of $1,723.54 biweekly. This is at the 2025 rate, as it is effective January 5th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve changes and statuses.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those transactions. Any questions or comments? Not all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so ordered.
Under other transactions, I have a motion to approve the recommendation of President Judge Tillwalk to add a third interpreter stipend in the Probation Services Department Adult Unit at the rate of $1,500 annually, effective immediately.
Motion approved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve President Judge Tillwalk's request. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Children and Youth would like to hire Juanita Aguirre Samuel at Admin Assistant 1 at the rate of $1,297.38 biweekly, effective December 30th. Children and Youth would like to hire the following two caseworker 1s, both at the rate of $1,562.16 biweekly, both effective December 30th, and that is Kristen Leininger and Lauren Waite. President Judge Tillwalk would like to hire Michaela Light as an office support 2 at the rate of $1,154.07 biweekly, and this is at the 2025 rate as it is effective January 6, 2025. President Judge Tillwalk would like to hire Colin Dudanowitz as an adult probation officer 1 at the rate of $1,866.86 biweekly, effective December 23rd, 2024. President Judge Tillwalk would like to hire Sarah McCain as a collections officer at the rate of $1,307.52 biweekly, effective December 30th, 2024.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those transactions. Any questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
If there are no questions regarding the transactions presented, is there a motion to adopt those transactions onto the salary board?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those salary board transactions. Questions regarding the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved. Thank you, Michelle.
Good morning, Holly Leahy, Administrator for Lebanon County Mental Health, Intellectual Disabilities, Early Intervention Programs. I'm here this morning to present and request approval for contract amendments for providers fiscal year 2024-2025. There are 10 contract amendments in total. That would be 3 for mental health, 5 for early intervention, and 2 for intellectual disabilities. These are predominantly for increased units, so for individuals who have needed increased units of services. The total amount of the contract amendments is $91,454. These will be covered through our current allocations and our current budget, so we are not requesting any additional capital tax dollars to cover these expenditures.
Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve those contract amendments as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those amendments. Any questions? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Good morning.
Good morning. If you'd like to introduce yourself, then
Yes.
the floor is yours.
Thank you. Audrey Fortman, Director of Probation Services. And good morning. I am here to present a contract for VigilNet. And VigilNet is our provider for electronic monitoring devices that we utilize for house arrest. And they also provide our SCRAM bracelets, which is the alcohol monitor. We've been working with them since 2014. They came to us with a presentation of a new device. Whereas they did not offer GPS bracelets previously, we were utilizing another company. They now have that option. We've tested the product and the software, and we are very pleased with the product. So I am presenting this new contract to you. I am very pleased to say that it also includes a reduction in costs for the county, which you don't hear very often these days. So I respectfully ask your support of this new contract.
We're going to go ahead.
I was just going to say I will gladly make a motion to reduce our cost.
Yes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Would you mind just explaining the cost
Yes.
in a little more detail?
Yes, sure. So there are two different tables that are part of the contract. Years ago, long before I was in this seat, we purchased not specific bracelets, but the concept of 30 bracelets with the company. And we get a different rate for those bracelets, which is even lower. So if we were to use a scram bracelet that is county owned, we are charged $7.50 a day for that. Once we exceed the 30, then the price becomes $9 a day.
How many?
$9 per day. The new GPS bracelet, we were being charged $5.25 per day. For those, it has dropped down to $4.25 per day. So if our numbers remain about the same, we'll see 1/5 reduction.
Who bears the cost of these per diems?
So we do pay monthly for the cost, but the cost of being on electronic monitoring and scram is then assessed to the individuals who are on the devices. It's added right onto their fines, costs, fees, and restitution, and they pay toward that.
Yes.
There are three different ways of monitoring: landline, Ethernet, and cellular. I guess I'm curious, and if you ever run into it, and if you do, what happens? You run into probationers who don't have coverage, and they live somewhere where their coverage is cellular coverage
Yes.
isn't great, so that's not reliable.
Yes.
And if they don't have either of the other two, if there's no Wi-Fi, no landline, you run into that, and in that case, are they ineligible then, or what do you do?
No. So previously, the company we were using is contracted with one. They were contracted, I believe, with Verizon, and so we could only use those towers. Another nice thing about this is they have bracelets, and most of the ones that we will use will be Verizon. But if we find that someone is in an area where it's not working, they have options for AT&T as well, and I believe another service. So we do have other options, which is nice. The other thing that helps is we have home units. When it absolutely will not work with communicating with the cell towers, there's like a home base that we can put into a residence, and the bracelet will communicate with that home base.
Okay. Anything else? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
This is already, the savings is already in the budget because she addressed this at budget hearing and changed the numbers at that time. This is the contract now affecting that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Audrey.
Thank you.
Christmas to you.
Thank you, you as well.
Jim, you're a little ahead. Do you want to slip anything in or leave everything?
I might. Well, let's do the elevator bids and then we'll see where we are.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning, Daniel Emmerich, purchasing. I'm looking for approval to move forward with the modernization of the judges' elevators and award the bid to the lowest bidder. We have received two which made all the qualifications, and we have Hadfield Elevator with a low bid of $232,887. This was approved with last year's budget, which was $260,000 to cover it.
Just read off what the other competing bids were.
Sure. We also have Cardinal Elevator with $282,648, and Wright Elevator with $298,800.
Okay. Any questions regarding this motion? Yes, James.
Yeah, on your paperwork, you have 232,000 here, but up here it says.
That's for additional work if we required it. So if we want to add some different upgrades to it, that would be for those upgrades.
You're submitting right now for the.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve the bid for the elevator as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. No further questions? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. Thank you.
Yeah, I can do a few of the things that I was going to, let's see where, I'm gonna hold on the ARPA allocation request though for the end of the meeting, is that right?
Yes.
First, hotel tax, grant fund requests or applications for the, Pennsylvania Chautauqua Foundation, for the Mount Gretna Visitor Center Summer Ambassador Program for 2025 in Mount Gretna. This is, they gave a narrative with the grant request. They are requesting $5,000 grant out of the project cost of $8,000. They point out here the destination, that Gretna is a destination for thousands of visitors every year.
Yep.
They have an active arts community, including Gretna Music, Gretna Theater, the Cicada Festival, Gretna Art School, Gretna School of Art, Chautauqua Summer Programs, etc. They have their staff person last year helped well over 2,000 visitors. Keeps pamphlets from various points of interest in Lebanon County stocked and displayed outside the center. And 100% of the funds for hiring the staff came from donors, and this grant, if it's funded, again, for 2025, so. Do you want me to do them separately? Go to the other.
Is that all right?
I'll make a motion to approve that request.
I have a question.
Do you have a second?
I guess I do, but I do have a question.
Sure, no, you may have.
Thank you.
Yep.
Would we be more prudent? I was shocked at the other thing coming up on our agenda here with the potential price tag. Should we be looking at investing in that building, or is that not an allowed use of funds to house all the people coming into the county? I don't know, it just, is there a possibility of using some of those, of the funds, and we don't have that many really? Just a thought.
I'm not sure I'm following you.
In other words, can we use some of the hotel tax for the building they wanna put up out there at the expo?
I would say no.
Because it would house incoming tourists.
Yes, or if we can, but I prefer not to.
I would just say, they're looking for $6 million. We only have 30, we're always scrambling. We keep reducing the amount per, we're down to 5,000. So I would say these funds are, very limited in terms of how many grants we can do. So I wouldn't be inclined to entertain
More
that.
so focused on events rather than facilities.
Yeah. And that's just we're always suggesting that we, have to put things off because we don't have the money in the fund.
Yeah, we don't, that's why.
We currently have a balance of $27,907 unencumbered.
I guess the answer is, I prefer not, or I'm a no on that. But we have a motion to second with regard to the Chautauqua. And any other comments or questions?
They're both really good programs, and they do bring in a lot of people. I just wondered if we wanted to at least air the possibility of using some of the money for the building.
Right, well, we're doing one at a time, and this is, I'm
What-
sorry, yes.
So I'm confused. So Chautauqua Foundation, is that $5,000? And then Mount Gretna Summer Concerts is what?
$5,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't read that.
Oh, you didn't get, okay,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
sorry.
We're doing them one at a time,
Okay.
in case there's some dispute about the amount or something.
And I think, if I just want to be clear, you're referring to an item on the agenda next for the exposition hall at the Expo Center. you're proposing the use.
I just
So-
wondered if we should be considering using some of the funds for that versus just these, applications that come in. But I got 2 no's, so.
Jay, still a motion to table.
Yes. Still. Anything else? All in favor of allocating 5,000 to Mr. Takwa, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Okay, and the second one is for the Mount Gretna Summer Concerts. This is to be used for advertising for the Mount Gretna Summer Concert Series 2025. The project has held at the Mount Gretna Camp Meeting Tabernacle. They have a total project cost, as they outline in the attachment, total project cost of $7,900 and requesting $5,000 toward it. They do note in here that there are professional musicians and their followers who come from the greater Philadelphia area, New York, and New Jersey. They do rent the 44 camp meeting cottages that are available for short stays and book nearby hotel rooms.
Motion.
Make the motion to approve the $5,000 as requested.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, excuse me, any comments regarding the motion? Discussion, hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. I would ask if Mr. Takwa, Susan Hostetter, could be asked to give more specific indications how it deals with the overnight stays. There's enough root there for me to say yes to this, but we're trying to zero in on the overnight stays, and I think they relied in that particular area. So, okay. What's next? What's next?
I could, okay, I don't know if Tom's put them yet. Do these two. then we'll-
Okay.
The disabled veteran exemption requests, meeting the requirements for the program for property tax exemption, Donald Shearer of West Oak Street, Lebanon, Daniel Rich of Swatara Creek Drive, Jonestown, and Robert McQuaid of Elizabeth Run Drive, Fredericksburg.
Motion to approve those exemption requests.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we approve those exemptions for tax, real estate taxes. Any questions regarding this motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
I have, as far as boards go, I have a resignation that's been submitted from Shyla Ulrich, who is resigning as a member of the Housing Authority of Lebanon County. She notes in her letter that it's been an honor to serve alongside dedicated professionals. She's transitioning to a new role as president of the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank and remains committed to advocating for those facing systemic barriers, including housing and food insecurity, and wants to express her appreciation to the commissioners for trusting her with this role and for the ongoing collaboration that's been a cornerstone of the Housing Authority.
Make a motion to approve Shyla's resignation, with regret, but at the same time, with congratulations for her new position.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any comments? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
And Jen Kuzo is here from the Visit Lebanon Valley. We have proposed changes to the Visit Lebanon Valley Board for 2025. Jen, the Rick Stammel, Carrie Royer, et cetera, are those reappointments? Or
They've
are
all
you-
been board members, that just reassigned in the executive committee. So
Okay.
Rick is stepping up to chair, as a board member, owner of Ancestor Coffee. Suzanne as chair is stepping down to past chair.
Okay, so, and Mike Emery and Scott Trowell, they're all
They've
due to
turned
term
over.
limits. So you have a new board member of Matt Krasinski, that's what we probably need to take action.
Yes,
So,
Matt is the assistant general manager of the Fairfield.
Okay, so would need action on Matt Grodzinski as a new member of the Visit Lebanon Valley Board for 2025.
Is there a motion to that?
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve that new board member. Any questions? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, so moved.
Then we'll go to Mr. Kerwin.
Ella Thompson in the middle. All right, good morning, gentlemen. If you'd like to introduce yourselves, and then whoever's going to begin can set the program up, and then you can proceed.
Okay, good morning. My name is Pat Kerwin. I'm with the Lebanon Valley EXPO Center and Fairgrounds.
My name is Tom Siegel. I'm a CPA in Lebanon, but I'm on the Expo board, and I'm going to report on our grant status, where we're applying and what we've done.
Okay, you want to take the floor then, Tom?
Pat, do you want to go first and describe the project, and then I'll...
Okay, I'd be glad to do that. I did deliver earlier a synopsis of the project, and I don't know if you have any questions on that or not. Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for all your past support, ongoing support of the Expo Center. You guys have been wonderful, not only financial support, but also the fact that you're there during the fair, volunteering almost every day, and we appreciate it immensely. We're very fortunate. Obviously, this request is for a new, large, multi-purpose exposition hall to be built on the current Expo property. The estimated cost is between $5.5 and $6 million. To date, the Expo Center has secured $4.5 million from the state, and Tom's going to talk a little bit about that, which I think that substantial grant from the state is an indication of the support that they recognize this great asset, and it's the economic activity that it creates for Lebanon County. And we are, nothing to do with me, but we are very fortunate in Lebanon County to have this facility. I just have to say it was very foresightful of people who came before. The Lebanon County, I know the Tourist Bureau shared with you some statistics about visitors to Lebanon County, and I think it indicates on there that about 30% of those visitors to the Expo Center are from beyond the 30-mile radius, which is implying that perhaps they're overnight guests. I'm not going to say how many people that visit the Expo Center stay in area hotels. That would be a whole study into itself. But we do obviously drive a lot of people to that facility from beyond the area. And I know in the net and the Click Lewis Arena, they also have looks like they have a larger attendance perhaps than the Expo Center. But I did think I should mention that I have a grandson who plays soccer there. A lot of those people that go to those facilities are there repeatedly week after week, as compared to the Expo Center, where our functions are all different. So I think we're driving people from turnover is much greater. So
Excuse me, I'm sorry. The system is being replaced. It's budgeted for next year. But unfortunately, you're one of the last victims of it.
Okay. And I think that report also demonstrated that the Expo Center attendance is increasing year to year over the past couple of years. So things seem to be going very, very well there. This exposition hall is just in the early stages of design, because we just got notification about being able to receive this $4 million from the state. So we don't have a lot of details yet on the structure itself. We're looking about hopefully in the neighborhood of 40,000 square feet, which is a large facility, free span without any poles, and of course air conditioned and heated, etc. The North Hall, for example, which you're all familiar with, is 15,000 square feet. So this would be like almost 3 times the size of the North Hall.
Make us opportunities for bigger venues that we can't compete with right now.
We have the demand for greater space. In fact, I had a call yesterday from an event that comes in January every year, Cabin Fever Expo, and he said they're from Allentown. He said, I hear you're going to build a new building. We were so excited about it. We want to know when it's going to be completed. So I said, well, that'll be a little while. But that's, in essence, what we're trying to do. And we're here to ask if the county, again, would be willing to make a contribution from the ARPA funds for this event, for this facility. You've been very supportive in the past. And my feeling is, regardless of your decision, we thank you for what you've done for us already and continue to do. And Tom can talk about the money.
Before Tom starts, I did disagree with one thing you said, that you don't want to take any credit for the growth in the the prosperity out there. But I will say that I think it's your relationships and the good work you're doing out there. It's almost, at least in my experience, unanimous with the vendors and with the expo board, so thank you.
Thank you.
Tom.
But we
Yeah, I
have
understand.
good staff and a wonderful
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
board, and it's not me.
Yes, sir.
Could I, before he starts
yes.
the numbers, before you get away from the building itself, if I understand correctly, for those familiar with the property, the location would be what is currently I guess everyone sees as the dairy barn area, or no?
No,
It's shaken
so
up.
it would be
Okay.
either the cattle pavilions, which are open, which are in excess of 35 years old
Yeah.
and falling apart. You know, that's a site, and then we talk about different site. But
Okay.
the thing that it's meant to replace is we have 3 cattle show areas that are open. They're almost like an open sided with the pavilion, and those are in pretty rough shape.
Yeah, we're talking about the same, in my mind's
Yeah.
eye, I'm at the same
Yeah.
place,
Yeah.
I just called it a dairy barn, I
Yeah.
guess, so it's between the Brightville Arena and the track,
Yep.
essentially, and that comes down.
Yeah.
That becomes the footprint. Is it a larger footprint than where that is?
The preliminary draft would have it almost on that same.
On that same,
Yeah,
okay.
which would be looked at from the standpoint of stormwater management. But this building will trigger a whole master plan for stormwater for the expo center.
And that's what I was going to get into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to get location down.
Again, I had said I'm on the expo board. I work on finances, and I'm in the manure committee, and there's 2 garbage men here for the fair that serve on the garbage.
You are our inspiration.
So anyway, we have job security, because no one wants these jobs. But anyway, the building itself, it will be about 40,000 square feet, hopefully. Just to give perspective on that, an acre, if I'm not mistaken, is about 43,560. So it's all but an acre, it's 90% of an acre. The reason, as Pat said, we're looking at pretty much $6 million for the building, and then we're trying to raise enough money to do site plan. This will trigger stormwater management issues and ingress and egress. So we're gonna have to do a more comprehensive site plan than we have and deal with that. So just to run through the finances, we have applied for and received a RACB grant, which is a Development Assistance Capital Program grant from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. That's administered by the governor's office, and what happens is you fill out an extensive form, you submit it, and essentially then whatever questions come up at that level, you have to answer. And again, I'm gonna give a lot of credit to our Senator Christopher Gebhardt. He sponsored us and did a really nice job in getting us that money. And again, you know, there are questions that you have to answer, and there's a lengthy form that needed to be filled out, and that was all completed. So we have that grant, that's promised and actually contractually obligated to pay us. And then we got a Keystone Community Grant, a KCP grant, from the department, that's a DCED grant for $500,000, and that's been promised. And so those are our promised funds that we have contracts for. We're here today to ask for $250,000 from the ARPA funds, which that was the American Rescue Plan Act that during the period of, we got, the commissioners know what it is, but just to fill in the blank, it was basically set up by the Biden administration that would help our economy recover. And so that we're asking for, respectfully asking for today. And then the 2 other amounts, there's an LSA grant, which is a local share account from DCED, and Representative Schlegel, who represents North Cornwall Township, is sponsoring us for that. We have the application in. He has shepherded it through the process. We will get a decision probably March or April timetable. That would be our timetable. And then the second other request, that was for $1 million, and we have a request for our Representative Muser for our particular district at the federal level, and he's working, trying to get some sort of grant. We don't have a timetable, but he has said that he's committed to getting us the money. So what we have is basically about $6 million towards the building if we get those grants, and then with the Keystone Community Grant and the ARPA money, we were hoping to get our engineering site planning completed to be in compliance with the county laws and so on and so forth. So that's kind of an overview of the finances. To give you some idea, $6 million sounds like an awful lot of money to me, but but when you look at what we're getting, 40,000 square feet, if you do the math, that's about $150 a square foot when you're talking about houses and storage buildings, and that it puts it in perspective. It's just the size of it is what drives the price up. It's not going to be, when we say $6 million, it's not going to have saunas in it and all kinds of luxury items. That's not at all what this is. It's just the sheer size of it requires that.
We'll have better than 60 amp service.
Yeah.
Which is what we now have.
Yeah, what Commissioner Phillips is basically referring to is the cattle areas have 60 amp services. So my son Daniel's the chairman of the fair, and the cattle are washed and groomed to make them look perfect. And he has to organize so many people at a time can use their hair dryers. So I mean, it's not a good situation with what we have. It served its purpose, but we outgrew it.
And Tom, I want to mention that you took this initiative to do the encouraging conversations with Senator Gebhardt, and
Yes.
also the application process. But for you, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about this 40,000 square foot. So I'm just saying, you guys are both too modest about your the impact you're having out there, and we appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Yeah, these other grants, I am trying my best, and I hope I'm successful, but I can't promise that. I promise I'll try the best I can.
Yes.
I appreciate all of the work that you have put into this. It's the first time hearing about it, and I'm surprised I didn't get a more detailed grant application, a copy of one that maybe went through already and was processed, so I have a better handle on the details. I was wondering if I could get that, number one. And number two, traditionally, the Expo board and the commissioners will share. Everything that was said, I didn't hear how much the Expo board is putting into this, personally, or so to speak.
Personally?
Yeah.
I can't answer your question. I mean, you're saying financially?
You know, as part of the budget, what kind of money is the Expo board putting in?
We're going to have carrying costs on it for a year or so till it's built, so we're going to use our funding for carrying costs, being defined as interest. These monies come back to you when the project is complete, not to start. So you really have to carry, let's say, half of $6 million for a year and a half or 2 year period. So that's going to be our contribution carrying costs.
And can you estimate those so I have an idea of?
Oh, I mean, if you look at $3 million at 6 or 7, say 6%, that's going to be $180 a year for 2 years. Plus, we're going to have insurance and
180,000 a year plus insurance. Yeah, I'd just like to see something, you know, some sort of a budget like that, so I know exactly what's going on. It's hard to follow, to come in and absorb all these numbers at one time.
It is a public record what we got. I mean, I can give them.
But I didn't know it existed. I mean, there's millions of public records out there.
Right.
You have to know what you're asking
I mean,
for.
we didn't do it secretively.
Okay.
I mean, there's no intent to cover anything.
I didn't say there was. I just said I haven't heard of it.
Okay.
If I read the papers and things, maybe they covered it. I didn't see it. But I'd like an itemized list to make sure I have it right.
Okay. Again, you know, maybe the board owes you an apology, but you have a representative of the commissioners on our board, and
We're not allowed to discuss things that might come for a vote under the sunshine
Maybe
law.
I failed in my.
well, I guess we made
Is that what you're saying?
We assumed that it would have been out there, but we'll get you what you need. Sure.
Thank you. That's all I ask.
Okay.
Laura?
Tom, The local share account from DCED that Representative Schlegel is sponsoring, how much was that?
We asked for $1 million.
Okay, thank you.
He's trying to, he's trying to advocate this.
And just one other question. One of the things I think a lot of people do in Lebanon County is wonder if this is going to be almost akin to a convention center where a convention could come in, or is this more going to be an agricultural use building?
It's going to be a multi-purpose facility, a big open space, and we obviously continue to focus on agriculture, but also we want to attract other events. And
so while it
so
doesn't
we can
have
do trade
saunas in
shows.
it, will it have
Bathrooms.
Yeah, restrooms.
Yeah,
But-
I think the one thing that is pretty evident to us is that you can't, if you just have an agriculture, it sit empty very often, and we need to rely upon rentals to help pay the bills, to, utilities, repairs, maintenance, and all that.
Well,
sort of
that's
stuff.
why I'm wondering,
Yeah,
so
that's-
is that a feature that you will try to, publicize or try to advertise as being a venue that a convention could come to?
Sure. And it's not only just conventions, like for example, the farm equipment manufacturers like John Deere and New Holland and Case, if they have like a regional maintenance seminar, they need open area and they need big garage doors. Like if you would try to put a combine in any of our buildings, we could not put one in West Hall, it would not fit. So in order to have the ability, because we now have lodging and food available, so before we could never get anything like that because we had no lodging or food. So with the pilot development, we have lodging and food, and so this building could have be an expo center for a particular group, or else it could be for like a maintenance seminar, that type of thing.
Thank you.
Are there any concept drawings in these applications that went to the state?
Yes.
I'd like to see some drawings of whatever's
It was just a
available too.
preliminary drawing, and we'll have to share that.
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing. This is,
Usually, as Thomas said, usually you have the project, but you have no money. We have the money, or a good chunk of it, and now we gotta get exactly what the board sees and what the folks come up with as the
And
actual.
the reason for that is to get to the point to be able to build this, to be permitted and have all the site work and engineering and everything, we could spend a ton of money, and if we didn't have the ability to do it, we would have wasted it. So we kind of had to approach it, do we have the money and then do it, sort of, as Commissioner Phillips said, a little bit backwards of what you might think, but there was a very good reason for doing it that way.
I have two things to, I guess, one is a question, the other is just a mention. Caught my eye here, you referred to the Expo Center often serving as a designated emergency evacuation shelter. And when we train, it's often part of that process, where we identify depending on where the emergency or the training or the scenario is, the expo becomes a place to go for shelter or whatever. I don't wanna be too presumptuous, but I assume this would increase that capacity as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Providing it's available in the event of an emergency, this would be another building available.
We were, I don't know if we still are, we had an agreement with the courthouse here, and I don't know if that's still in place with the new emergency center, if
Right.
we go there instead or not.
Yeah, that's our
The
backup.
backup, but we have formal agreements with some of the schools, including the Northern Lebanon School District, because we're within the 10-mile radius for if they have an emergency situation, they can bring their kids here. Cornwall, Lebanon, they're gonna walk them down the rails to trail into the expo center, and then they disperse from there.
Right.
So we also serve as a staging area for med ed in the event there's a catastrophe. There's a lot of little things going, that are benefit to the
Typically,
community.
you'd use the main hall and the west hall
Right.
for that sort of thing. And
Yes.
this, again, I don't wanna be too presumptuous, but I assume here's 40,000 more square feet that could possibly be used for that.
Absolutely.
And the second is just to mention and anticipate here, the RACP, the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program Grant, requires a a governmental body to administer that, and I'm anticipating you're going to ask that the county it's essentially a pass-through. You know, we have to become the application that's submitted for that money, and then the drawdown is passed through, and the county has done that for some hospital projects, I believe, Lebanon Valley College, possibly we did that, I'm trying to remember which ones, but, so that's something just coming along down the line, once you have that sort of thing.
And we may need that for the LSA grant also. North Cornwall is our home township, and if they can sponsor it, fine. If not, we'll probably come here and request the county.
Yeah.
Same thing would be a pass-through.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I do have one more question. With this increased building and you want to bring more people in, right now, when we have these big events, the parking is, you know, it's filled. Where are you going to park everybody?
This includes more parking. We're anticipating adding to the parking capacity.
Where?
Well, that's probably maybe there's capacity in front of North Hall. I don't know if you're North Hall, the big hall with the red brick, that whole area, that there's capacity there. We have capacity to the, looking from the front to the left of that for additional parking too, but additional parking will have to be part of this.
And also the area on the western side,
Yes.
southwestern side is a big open hayfield that's not.
Yeah, but that's been used for vendor parking, I believe.
Not all the way back.
Well, we're-
There are a couple of roads.
Parking would have to be-
Trailers and all that. I mean, I walk that area and that's packed with, I didn't know where you're going to put any more cars.
Well, our biggest event, of course, is the fair, and that's the one that's the big challenge with parking. And for that, we use the soccer fields, and we use that whole area, even the horse rinks. We put cars in the horse rinks for, but that's a one time a year thing where everything is at capacity. That's just an unusual thing. I think we'll have to add additional parking, and that's all part of the study to make sure we're not shooting ourselves in the foot, you know. I do have some good news.
This is all good news.
Okay, well, okay, it's some additional good news.
There you go.
This week we got word from the PennDOT that we finally have permission to widen our driveway.
Okay.
As you all know, that's been a problem for us.
Just gonna ask that.
So that's been a long process, but so hopefully that'll occur in the beginning, well, when the weather breaks for next year. That was good news,
That's
and I thank everybody for helping us with that too. You know, that involved a lot of people from Lebanon County to support.
Very good. All right, well, thank you for coming in. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Jim, go ahead.
Several questions. I want to understand a couple things, Tom. The grant is from the governor's office, that's part of the funding he gets every year. That one's coming, like RPAC or
RACP.
RACP.
RACP,
Yeah, and how much was that, did you say?
4 million.
That's 4 million, okay, I'm sorry.
I had
And-
4.5, which is it?
Well, that's,
No, it's 4 million. The other 500 is the Keystone Community Grant. In other words, Commissioner Litz, the 4 million is the RACP grant, and the 500,000 that we already have is the Keystone Community Grant.
I had the additional 500,000 there, so maybe I misunderstood.
Okay.
And then, how much of that, like, is firmly committed? You talked to, like, some aren't committed, these are,
Well,
Schlegel's trying to get you money. How much is actually committed to the project?
Okay, the RACP grant is committed. That's from the governor's office. That was the one that Senator Gebhardt was very instrumental. I can't thank him enough for doing that and helping us. But the Keystone Community Grant is committed, and then, without being presumptuous, we're hoping that you vote in favor of the ARPA grant, which leaves $2 million uncommitted. The first is the LSA program with Representative Schlegel from our North Cornwall district, and he has already started the process of supporting us by writing letters and making contacts and so on and so forth. And then the user of the money, we do not have a specific program. He's trying to find where it could fit in the federal government. So I have very little information for you on that.
That's fine. And then Pat, as far as use of that building when it comes to the fair, would that be like the dairy, because that's taken away the dairy area, would there be dairy shows in there? Is that where the dairy cattle will be kept for, housed for the week? During the fair, what do you think the primary use would be? During
For animals,
for showing,
for showing and,
Well,
housing?
yeah, and, part of the, I'm not to bore you or anything, but like when there's with the 4-H kids, they have, show beef animals, for example. So there's a prize for the best animal, but there's also a prize for fit and finishing an animal. And the reason, like, if you have an animal with the back's curved like that, you cut its hair so it's straight. So fit and finishing is an art, and they have a program for that. And what I was saying is my son has to be like a little policeman and go over and allow only so many people at a time to use their hair dryers and their washing facilities, because we don't have, there's not enough amperage. A 60 amp service does not handle too much. So, and so it would be used to probably for housing and fitting and finishing, and then show ring too.
And Pat, have you had to turn away anyone because your capacity is limited as it currently is? And then you said, well, we don't have space to do that right now, but with the addition of this building, it could maybe house a smaller event while other events are happening simultaneously. Has that been an issue at the
it
EXPO
is.
Center?
I mean, and actually, if we get those kind of large inquiries, I usually refer them to the farm show complex, because they have that capacity. Actually, I had a call yesterday afternoon from a woman from Missouri who was interested in doing a very large consumer show, and she wanted to know how many thousands of square feet we have in an open hall. And I gave her that information, but we had roughly 75,000 square feet in the entire facility. So that's using all the halls, and of course I explained to her that, we have these large overhead doors that we can open up, and that's the way they're utilized, so people can flow from one building to the other. And then she was going to send me an email, because I told her on our website, but I haven't heard from her. But I didn't know if that was because we didn't have one large big hall, because sometimes that's a problem. We had our Christmas at the Expo this year. They had over 6,000 people attend over 3 days, which is a good number. And they do all kinds of signage there saying, don't forget hall number 1 or hall number 2, because they try to direct people around to get to the various locations. So a really large hall like this is desirable from a promoter standpoint. If they can get everything in one hall. Now, obviously that's not always going to be the case, but having this capacity would be a big help to us.
Well, I would like to propose that a motion to just table this until our next meeting, because I haven't seen a complete list of the ARPA grants that we have and what money's left. I had asked for that, but I don't think I have a copy of that.
Handed it out last week.
And we were gonna vote on a copy if you want. At this point, we were just thanking them for being here, but we were gonna be considering all the ARPAs later.
Right.
Oh, okay, that's all I was asking.
You have?
I'll just take a look.
Okay, well, if nothing else for you gentlemen, we appreciate everything you've done, and this is a great present for Lebanon County if you get this thing up and running. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I don't remember seeing this.
Can I ask, when you do evaluate the ARPA applications, because I know we're coming up on deadlines,
Yeah,
you know.
it's next.
It's next, you don't have to wait too long.
Oh.
Because
Don't leave.
we have to allocate by the end of this year.
That was my question.
Yeah, by the end of 26 is when the money has to be
Spent.
used. But we have to earmark it right now.
Okay. Okay.
Is that our segue?
That could be it. Thank you, Laura.
All right, that's the only remaining thing I have on the list of items to present is for your consideration of final ARPA allocations, for action to be had on that, so that we can wrap that up and go into the portal for ARPA and categorize the remaining funds. so that we're in compliance with the deadlines as was just discussed. The deadlines are that by the end of 2024, entities must have all of their funds for the American Rescue Plan allocated, and then all must be spent by the end of 2026. We have done a number of these grants and programs, et cetera, and there is a remaining balance of ARPA, and there's been, I'll talk about it in a moment, but a little, some disencumbering or unencumbering of funds toward the DES radio project, which has added to the balance. What we have on hand, I'm going to anticipate a question from Jim Benser here at Lebtown, because the last time we, I think, met and discussed this, there was somewhere in the neighborhood of $660,000 or something that was reported available. We actually have $3,365,959. At that time, there was a sort of a, I guess, unofficial set aside of $2 million that I anticipated we were going to put toward renovations of the city, former city offices, and so on. So that's in this total number, which at the time was not yet allocated, but was anticipated or thought to be going to be part of this. Sorry. So I have 4 projects that I'm proposing to you that would allocate and encumber the remaining funds. Again, $3,365,959.70. I have a summary for you guys.
Jamie, as you go, can you designate which category, which pillar they fall under?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
Will you give us a copy?
I'll get. Yeah, this is basically a summary of the packet I gave you last week. I just put it all in one sheet for you to review and look over before. Have a week to look at it before this meeting. Again, that $3,365,959.70 includes $500,000 added to or unencumbered from the original project for radio tower replacements and expansion of that system from the Department of Emergency Services due to some delays or some changes in sites, or our inability to utilize a site that we thought we could, and the reality that we're just not going to be able to do that by the end of 2026. And so rather than keep it there and risk not using it and it going away, we're moving it back into the pot, so to speak, for other projects. So the 4 projects that, and some of these came to you a long time ago, and they've just been kind of riding to see where we are at the end of things and what can be made available. Some of them, such as the exhibition hall project, are more recent.
May I ask, are we going to vote on these individually as you go along? Is that the plan?
I think we can lump them. I talked to Matt about that earlier. We just list them in the. If you want to take separate motions,
as long as
it's
everyone
fine.
agrees with all the packet.
Well, that's true. If you want to take them one by one, that might be.
A safer route.
That's your preference as chair. That's fine. Yeah. Let me read through them first, and then.
Yep.
Okay. So the first one is for the Community of Lebanon Association. These they are asking to fund a project for earth planters for the downtown Lebanon area of $23,906. Currently, they request funds each year from the hotel tax to support essentially a watering program for those flowers and planters that they have as part of the attraction to downtown tourism category type. And they want to replace everything with planters that are, I'll call them self-watering. They don't create their own water, but they have reservoirs that reduce the need for manpower and therefore cost. So it's an upfront cost, but it saves in the long run to be able to have less maintenance on those downtown. Coleman Memorial Park is requesting funding to complete a pickleball court project in Coleman Memorial Park. They currently have tennis courts, and they want to transition those to pickleball court. The total project cost is around $80,000. They did get $50,000 from DCNR, and they're asking to put that toward $30,000 of ARPA toward that project. That would fall under outdoor recreation category. The Lebanon Valley Exposition Center, as you just heard a lot about, multi-purpose exhibition hall, is requesting $250,000 toward their $6 million, I'll call it $6 million project for the for that new building. And then lastly,
Which would be under the tourism pillar.
yes, thank you.
Excuse me, but
Yes.
I thought I heard him say 50,000. Did he say 250?
Yes.
It's been,
And lastly, the remainder of the funds, if you subtract those three projects, what we have in remaining is $3,062,053.70. I propose that funding be put toward the renovation of the former city offices in this building, relocation of several departments, and including abatement of asbestos-containing materials in the affected areas. I have estimates for all of the phases. We're looking at a multi-year project for this, which contains at least 6 phases to it: 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, and so on, up to 4, all the way up to 4B. Over time, because some areas need to be done before others can, it's a whole domino effect moving around. The total estimate for all of those renovations that I have, based on architect's estimate, as well as mechanicals, etc., is $100 to $150 a square foot for renovations, and approximately $600 to $725,000 for asbestos abatement. Again, not the entire building being abated, but the areas where we're going to go into and do renovations and have an impact. Then we would abate any flooring that's asbestos containing, any insulation above the ceiling that's asbestos containing, and those are the main ACMs, or asbestos containing materials. So I have a range of cost of $5.1 million to $7.4 million for renovations to this building. Again, proposing to use $3,062,000 from ARPA toward that. That category is, there are a number of categories actually that ARPA allows for. Improved HVAC systems as a result of, in the wake of COVID, which was where, as you all recall, where this really originated and was initiated. Use of space for storage, for supplies and materials, as well as the elimination of hazardous materials, which is where the asbestos abatement would come in. This would not reach to that whole project cost. However, Children and Youth Services, which is one of the impacted departments, has included in their needs-based budget to the state $1 million for renovations for the 2 offices that they would occupy, which leaves a remainder, which in round numbers is about $4 million we'd have available. If it's at the low end of $5.1 million, we'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it.
and it may not, this is a multi-year potentially.
Right. I'm looking, that $100 to $150 a square foot. As I look at some of these estimates, I don't think, remodeling or dressing up conference rooms necessarily takes $150 a square foot. That's, a much lesser cost. This is a range. They did this based on some renovations that Beers Hoffman is overseeing in Berks County. They did renovations to existing county offices, so they have a pretty good handle on current costs for that type of office space. So again, if we get to a point where that $4 million is short, which it likely will be, there may be other funds available from departments that are affected. There is a possibility to have to borrow or fund it out of existing sources in the general fund or otherwise, capital costs. So those are the 4 that I have listed, which would then encumber all of the ARPA funds granted to Lebanon County, which total is $27,541,628.
Could you repeat that? 27 million?
$541,628.
That's what I was looking for, was that total number. Thank
Okay,
you.
so it'd be my preference to take them one at a time.
Sure.
Yep. So, is there a motion to?
I'll make a motion to approve item number 1 as proposed with the Lebanon Association for $23,906 for their planter project.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion regarding this motion? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. Pickleball. Outdoor recreation category for Coleman Park, $30,000. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to give $30,000 to Coleman Park for pickleball courts.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions regarding the motion? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, so moved. On to the number 3, the Expo's multi-purpose exhibition hall under the tourism category for $250,000. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve that request.
I would like to add a stipulation that provided what was promised today is delivered and as presented. I have not had anything in writing, and that's a lot of money to go to one organization. I think they're worth it, but I want something, the drawings and that sort of thing, the items, a written summary, because.
I think they agreed to give you that.
Pardon?
I think they did agree. Tom is going to get you.
Right, I would like that part of the motion to make sure that I do get that. I haven't gotten anything to this point, and so I want to make sure my trust is not violated.
Commissioner Coon's motion.
I'm ready to move forward as presented with the information we've got. And I trust that they will provide the information.
Yeah, Tom is very credible. If he tells you he's going to get you that
But
paperwork.
Credible would have been giving me this stuff in advance so I could look at it.
Okay. Are you willing to second the motion as it stands?
I'll second the motion, but I abstain because I don't have the information in front of me.
Okay.
See what you get today if possible.
Pardon?
I'll contact them, see if you can get it for you today if possible.
So there's a motion and a second on the floor with an advance notice of the vote, but is there any further discussion regarding this particular number 3 with the expo? If not, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
Me.
So it's a split vote, 2 in favor and 1 abstention. Number 4 is the courthouse renovations, which include asbestos abatement under the hazardous materials and HVAC improvement pillar.
I make a motion to approve the $3,062,053.70 for the courthouse abatement and renovations.
Second.
Okay. Just to be consistent, I haven't seen any of the detail on this here with me, but I'll just trust that you're gonna provide that at some point as you go along with it.
Is that what this is?
I mean, it's not the, it is to some extent, but it's not the, I've done any pictures or anything, or any detail, but I'm gonna go along with this $3 million expenditure. Any discussion further? If not, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, so moved. All right, complied with the ARPA deadlines and go from there. Anything else, Jim?
No. MPO board at 11:30.
Okay, anything from the floor? Yes?
Jamie, what was the number for the asbestos abatement, the estimate? I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah. A range of 600 to 725,000.
Thank you.
Nothing else, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Stand adjourned. Thank you all for your input. It's been a great meeting with a lot of variety, and wish you all Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. If we don't see you before then.
Meeting next Thursday for final approval on the budget, but that's, at this point, I think that's all we have on the agenda. Have anything?
I heard rumor in the hallway, retirement boards.
Oh, yes, Commissioner Metley wants to have retirement board meeting thank you. But that's the extent of next Thursday's meeting. It should be brief. Yeah, 9:30.
Exemptions for veterans?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did it before the expo.
Yeah, for the expo team. You guys want the summaries? Yes, and I have other, I mean, if there's something else you want to see from what I have here, I'm happy to.
You didn't even know that you didn't have the percentage before, so I mean, it's like, I just don't understand the, I don't know, this Tom Siebel, all this effort into it, he put up his own money to put the application fee of $500. I mean, he's done all this stuff, and then you're questioning whether, I mean, it's, we are locked in at $4.5 million that he was able to get for us. And he's asking for $250 of this. I mean, I can't see that that's a great deal for the town. I mean,
I didn't say it wasn't a great deal, Bob. I said I hadn't been presented a formal request. It was just numbers all over the place. I don't have anything in writing.
No, he turned that off.
I can't wait to get the new system.
Me too, I hope this is all January 1st.
Yeah,
Legal.
and a line out for audio that I could plug into would be
Yes.
so
That
awesome.
in the request?
No, I didn't.
No, well, that's my only time this year.
Just a line out for audio.
Hubby had some
It's an easy, probably I could plug into that. I don't even think these things work, do they?
That one you can really hear, and I think sometimes Rollins will leave other two. First one, why? What'd you say? What? Somebody would tell you. I don't know, I'm just getting Laura's request.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
I don't know.
Were you, any of you aware of this Penn Live special report?
Oh, yeah, I was aware that, I think Mike Schroeder mentioned it.
No, but I mean, prior to
Oh, no.
him.
Yeah, I was reading articles as they came out.
Okay,
I read the Patriot every morning as well as the Daily News.
Yeah.
I left town and I listened to you coming to work. And
But I knew about the one case, Veronica Rodriguez, but all these other ones I didn't know about. And so I just didn't know if I was just I guess I was just in the dark on that.